Hello, my friends, and welcome back to a blind Let's Play of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, game number 1 in the Ace Attorney trilogy. My name is FlightlessBird, and this is your story-based gaming channel. I just want to say thank you for everything, my friends, for all that you've done to help support me in this channel. I'm feeling much better from the other day, so I am ready to rock and roll and try to figure out how we can nail Marshall here for his lying. But I don't think it's gonna end here. I get the firm idea that there's something more going on than just what Marshall is lying about. So what I did was, if you remember, I didn't save the game after we got past the videotape. So I went ahead and basically replayed the stuff that we've done before. And I decided to pick it up right here, because I think this is a good place to pick it up, considering his statement. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can? Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
That's so then. Where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. So this is where we got stuck. Or I should say stuck, but this is where we lost our last hit point.
Well then, let's hear it.
Where is he gonna be at? Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? Yeah, that's what I want to know. I think last time we, selected K or B? Or maybe it was like over here? Oops, I just randomly clicked on something. Wait. Officer Marshall was standing right there.
So Officer Meekins didn't notice him standing there. That's almost as credible as Markin's work theory.
Oh, okay, we got it wrong. It's weird though, because someone told me that when he slams his desk, it means that you got it right. But he slammed his desk when he didn't get it right. I accidentally, I don't know what I was thinking, but I saw triangle present, so I just randomly hit triangle. That was kind of dumb, I do admit. So is he V?
Oh, okay, good. Officer Marshall was standing right there, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Nope. Correct, unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. Alright, yes, now we're back on track. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he'd known for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me! By the way, I hope everyone's having a wonderfully fantastic day today. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. Huh? As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall?
Oh, the dots. You got quite an imagination there, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it?
You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as a victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim?
Well? Who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that.
I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the dessert heat.
Ack, this can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do?
The dots? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed.
Huh? I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. Wait, is Edgewood trying to help me out here? 'Cause I think he's trying to help me out. See, I knew we were buds. The basics. The basics. For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. Outside of the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Oh. Why do you think this locker was open in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Wait, so is the, hold on, here's what I'm thinking. Is the other part of this unstable jar in the locker? Which means he hadn't originally planned to open his locker.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside.
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps. Perhaps a video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so my video is my only shot. Oh god, not the video again.
Oh, the dots.
Not the video again! No! Oh, dear lord. Yet again, looking at the videotape.
Very well, let's take another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker.
Oh, dear god, not again. Oh, think. Okay, I don't see anything yet. Here he comes. He opens the locker and the glove falls out. We know about that already. Here comes Officer Meekins. The locker is still closed. So, hold on. Rewind. Let's go, let's try to see it frame by frame, shall we? So, Officer Meekins comes from behind. And he turns with the knife. You can see the, oh, hold on, I went too fast. You can see the knife right here. See in the bottom left there? So the knife comes out, slashes at Meekins. And then I don't think Meekins got cut. Or did he get cut in his hand? And then Meekins attacks. There's the knife still. They struggle. I wonder if it's because of that. The blood. Right there. I wonder if it's because he had to put away the coat due to there being blood on the coat. Present. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know what to do yet. Yet? Think I got it. Yes, I'm telling you. Having that extra, day off just to rest really helped rejuvenate my brain. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you, and when asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat.
You couldn't just walk out like that. So you hid the coat in your locker. Ah!
Oh, the debts. Not bad, partner. Now then, Officer Marshall. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth.
Oh, the doubts.
2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now would we?
Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it.
All right. Seems the time has come.
Witness testimony, Marshall's confession. Excellent. Let's do this.
I had to do it that day. Couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. Planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. And there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
Alright.
So the supposed victim was really you.
But there's only one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be?
Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor.
It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Could all the blood have been in the, in this thing here? No, because there would have been blood stains on the other side of this, right? There's a trace of old blood on this jar. This was evidence in the SL9 incident. The blood must be from back then. Oh, the blood was from back then. Interesting. Hold on one second. Let me go back to that. If I turn it, will I see anything new? Yes, I do. The jar has no bottom, so the hole goes right through. I wonder if it's really a jar or some kind of weird telescope. Telescope? Huh. I have no idea what this thing is. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Marshall's confession. Cross-examination.
I had to do it that day. Just couldn't stand by and let it die.
When you say it, you mean?
Do you even have to ask, partner?
The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day.
Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over.
But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
when a case is closed. Only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time. No matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. The case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it?
Well, that day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I plan to take out the evidence.
Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transfer, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere.
So you did it to fool the security camera.
And the detective's ID card. I stole that the morning of the incident.
So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report.
I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall? But that would have been a 30-minute delay, right? So, essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight.
What do you mean, partner?
Well, I mean the fingerprint activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in that door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Hold on. So is he the 7777777 badge? No, Bruce Goodman is 5842189. But there was no time for Goodman to have opened the locker. No, because Goodman, the marshal impersonated Goodman, stole his ID, so he opened at 514. But when did Goodman, the real Goodman, open the locker originally? Huh. Or maybe that 777 is Chief Gaunt. I'm gonna continue to say Gaunt. Maybe it's Gaunt? Maybe that's how you say it? Gaunt? I think that's how you say it, is Gaunt. I had someone who told me that it's almost like the aunt sound. So you still have the ah that I know the Japanese would have. But yeah, let's call him Officer Gaunt from now on. Maybe that's correct, and maybe people in the comments can tell me, yes, FlightlessBird, you actually did it. You said his name correctly. But anyway,
I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out.
you pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off?
Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-one, a one-in-a-million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID?
I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. Aww, yeah, give him a raise. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? That's a good point.
Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With him knocking him out. I mean, with me knocking him out and everything.
By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one?
Huh? I don't know what to say.
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera.
So you did your research beforehand.
Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left.
However, you bloodied a code in your struggle with Officer Meekins.
Well, if someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there.
What was Officer Meekins doing during that time?
What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
So why do we think there was? But the blood found at this scene certainly indicates a crime took place.
What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner.
So you stole the evidence from the locker.
Well, actually, no, I didn't.
Why not?
When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor. So someone other than Goodman opened his locker, because Goodman couldn't have opened his locker, which means that 7777 whatever could have been Chief Gaunt, which means Chief Gaunt opened the locker early to take the evidence out of the locker. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty, and of course this is all just theorizing. Theorizing? Yeah, theorizing. Someone else stole the evidence. I can't think of anyone else though who it could be. Also, Marshall, may I ask you one thing?
Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID? Injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Yeah, you should go to jail.
Oh, the dots. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with. The witness says an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why?
Why is that? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence.
I remember that Joe Dark case. It involves serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out. But there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Oh, the dots. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. I have no idea what Phoenix is talking about. Let me go ahead and say it first. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. Oh, could it be his last name?
I had to do it that day. Could just stand by and let it die.
Oh yeah, you know why? The reason you can't give up the case is because a relative was murdered. That's what my original thought was. Because it says here, Neil Marshall. That can't be a coincidence, my friends. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner.
I have the SL9 incident file right here. And the name, Marshall, is mentioned in here. Ha, yes!
Oh, the exclamation.
And a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall.
Yeah. Sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago.
What was that?
He received the same lousy prosecutor award that you got. What? A prosecutor?
He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did.
That's right. He was killed. And the case. It just happened to fall into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gaunt, the deputy chief of police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer.
Who is this guy?
Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence, and that was all that we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight.
And that's it. That's your reason for your insane actions.
Well, there's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me.
All the dots.
Well, at least one thing is for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Huh. Which just means the things that happen by chance never cease to amaze me. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's got to be more than just that.
So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one.
Which, in turn, means that, let's see, only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But, there's only one reason the defendant wasn't convicted yesterday. And there yet remain the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
Seems to me, boys got the dry on you, partner.
Yeah, this is bad. All of the mysteries at the police department could have been resolved. No doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office, and the only suspect is Lana Sky. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star, well, it's completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less. How about objection? That's a word. All the dots. Arg! That's a word too. I rest my case. Oh, this ain't good.
Well, it seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. But there's still more that we don't know, like who stole the evidence from the locker? I mean, these cases, these incidents have to be, it can't be coincidence. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty.
Oh, now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. The court finds the defendant.
Objection? Someone? Please? Hold it? Yeah, who said hold it? Wait. Oh! Emma to the rescue! We love you, Emma! Your Honor, wait. Emma. The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean? Right. I mean, are you saying right as in my name or right as in you're correct? Because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian?
Your Honor? In a sense? Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. Oh, the dots. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Aw, that's really nice of you, Edgy. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky's sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprints had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker?
But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and I looked at it again. So, did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry. I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. So, what evidence do you have, Emma? I need your help here. Come on. All the dots. All the dots. Is that all? Maybe? Please, don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But, Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue that we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy.
Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Nana will be.
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. Ever I needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Sure, why not? We got nothing to lose. I object. I don't know what I'm objecting for. I'm like Jim Carrey from the movie Liar Liar. I object because this is damaging to my case. If I don't. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Oh, the dots. Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. I don't know what the good look is, but I'm gonna save just in case. Something is missing. What's missing? Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use.
The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans?
Okay, I know this is gonna sound completely insane, but the only thing I can think of after watching that video 100,000 times, yes, that was exaggeration, I've only watched it 10,000 times, is this thing. Oh, they're all gonna think I'm crazy.
What about that piece of plywood?
The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. I have no idea where Phoenix is going with this. I'm just running with it. Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Well, please look at the floor plans at the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here.
So
watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well? So you're saying it was impossible to leave the bloody handprint? Because you couldn't get to it?
What?
That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at the spot on the locker. Yes, so I did realize that.
What?
Oh, looks like he's back. Oh, and Emma's back with us. Did you see that?
So that means, just exactly what does that mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. Emma, on that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. All the dots. So that means this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in.
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched boulder dash in my courtroom.
Haha, he said boulder dash. That's great. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice. But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. The problem is, the other time. Yeah, he's completely blocking that locker. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. Go get him, Phoenix. The murder portrayed in this security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. Oh, look at this back and forth. It's so good. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. When did the first incident occur? It would have had to have been at 4:20, right? But the problem with it occurring at 4:20, the problem with it occurring at 4:20 is wouldn't we have had videotape of it?
To summarize, the defense claims that prior to us Americans being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in the evidence room.
That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this.
Very well. Well then tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Ms. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented.
Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that.
Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place?
Like I said, it has to be here. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required.
An ID card? Oh, the ID card record.
Officer Meekins brought the blue badge panel into the evidence room at,
let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done?
I think he's being framed. He's being framed.
I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy.
Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me.
Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. Well, that means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have just spent 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the room.
Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. The all sevens.
Talk about a lucky number. But wait. That doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room?
Well, since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. Someone that he trusts. Someone like Chief Gaunt. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with the all sevens.
Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 777777777.
That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. And maybe 2 too many sevens for you, Flightless Bird. I lost count, you said it so fast. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present. Wait, what?
Explain yourself, son.
The ID number with all the 7s belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. But that's ridiculous. Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
Well, if an official charge filed against an executive is accepted.
An official charge?
You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's chief office operates.
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself.
Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question.
Yes?
No, not to you, to her, the defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive.
Lalana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course, we've looked up her ID number, and it's not the 7s.
Don't play me for a fool, partner. It's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence?
Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor?
I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for the trial. At the time,
occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did.
All the exclamative dots?
Lalana! I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in the court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
Oh, the dots. I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Why won't you answer him?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to do in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But, Lana, even if it involved forging evidence.
So did Dark actually do the crimes? Is that what Marshall's going for?
See, that's what I'm talking about.
No. No! Order! Order! I say I will have order! Lana's remarks caused such a stir that chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. To be continued. Well, I think that, also at the same time, I had to say the conclusion will have to wait another day because we're going on, oh my gosh, 15 minutes now. Holy cow, this game is addictive as can be. Just makes you want to play some more because you want to figure out what's going on. I love you all so very much. Thank you for everything. You guys are amazing. The best community in YouTube. If you liked the video, you know what to do. I love you guys again. You all are awesome. Until next time, so long, and take care. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment on what you saw and what you would like to see next. I always love to hear your thoughts. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more. Also, please do not forget, you matter, you are brilliant, and you are loved, and you should always remember to be true to yourself. Don't let the world tell you any different. Much love to you from your friendly feathered flightless bird. Till next time.